Hi, Dave Anderson from the Camera Company. Today we're going to talk about exposure compensation, what it is and what it does. But I need to start with a disclaimer. Most DSLR cameras like mine, many of the super zooms or bridge cameras, and a lot of the point and shoots now have exposure compensation as an option. Now, while I'm not going to go into all the details on how it works on every camera, I'm going to tell you what it is, and you're going to have to refer to your owner's manual to make it work for you. Exposure compensation, quite simply, allows you to override the camera's metering system. Cameras are designed to take a picture of average intensity, average light, everything is average. But many times you may want to brighten that image, and to do that you would dial in a plus exposure compensation, adding more light coming through the lens, therefore yielding a brighter picture. The opposite is true. There are some times where you may want to darken an image. And to do that, what you would do is dial in a negative or a minus exposure compensation. What that's going to do is let less light through the lens and therefore give you a darker image. It works pretty well. We're going to show you a couple examples. Again, refer to your owner's manual, but this is a great tool to have in your toolkit. Okay, as we said, exposure compensation is simply either adding or subtracting light. So by adding light, we're going to make an image brighter. By subtracting light, we're going to make an image darker. In this particular case, the camera's meter is going for an average value. And when it does that, we take a picture of a scene like this with snow. It's going to look a little bit on the gray side. So the way to compensate for that is to add a stop of light or go to +1 on your exposure compensation, and you can see how the scene instantly brightens up. So here we can look at a before and after. By adding just one, in other words letting more light in, adding some exposure, we were able to get a brighter image, more truer to the actual situation, because snow is white, it's not gray like that. And you want your images to pop and sparkle, so you can use the exposure compensation to add some exposure. Now in a reverse situation, the camera's meter is going for an average, and it comes out and it looks okay. The sky's a little bit, it's just gray overall. It's just not quite there where it needs to be. So by taking light away or dialing in -1 compensation, you can see that the scene instantly has more contrast, more well-defined, and just looks better. So here we can see before and after. That's subtracting. That's a -1 on your exposure compensation. Okay, what I want to show you here is how exposure compensation works in adding and subtracting light. What I've done is I've got a scene. The center image with 0 is what the camera thinks the exposure should be. Now, by adding 1 stop of exposure or 2 stops of exposure, I can brighten it a little bit or I can brighten it a lot. The reverse is true. By taking 1 stop of exposure away or 2 stops of exposure away, I can darken it quite a bit. Now, I'm showing this example in full stops. Many of the exposure compensation dials on your camera allow you to do it in 1/3 stops, so you can have a little more incremental control. Again, as I said in the beginning, refer to your camera's owner manual. Exposure compensation may not work in every mode for every camera, but many of the cameras today have this feature. I encourage you to give it a try and see exactly what sort of results you will get for yourself. As you can see by those examples, adding light brightens the image, taking light away darkens the image. Refer to your owner's manual, give it a try. You're going to find it a useful tool to have in your photography toolkit. Thank you again. I hope this tip was helpful. If so, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next video.